In the heart of Egypt, where gold ruled men, and men were sold like cattle, a young stranger was brought into the slave market. Not a criminal, not a runaway, but a prophet of Allah, hidden beneath dust and silence. The crowd gathered, voices rose, coins clinked, and eyes judged him as if he was nothing more than merchandise. But Allah had written something else, because destiny does not ask permission from people. The traders pushed him forward, and the market became louder, as if the world itself was celebrating his humiliation. Yet Yusuf alayhi salam stood calm. No screaming, no begging, no anger. Only patience, because when a believer knows Allah is watching, even chains feel light. And then, from the crowd, a powerful man stepped forward, the Aziz of Egypt, the second most powerful figure after the king. His footsteps carried authority. He looked at Yusuf alayhi salam, and something inside him froze. Not fear, recognition, a strange feeling that this boy was not ordinary. And with a few coins, the traders handed Yusuf away, just like that, a son of Prophet, sold in the marketplace. Yusuf alayhi salam was taken into the palace, a place where walls were carved with pride, where torches burned day and night, and where silence felt heavier than the desert. From the well to the palace, from betrayal to power. But the test was not over. Because sometimes the greatest fitna does not come from hunger or poverty. It comes from comfort. Years passed, and Yusuf grew into a young man, strong, dignified, quiet. He walked the palace halls like a servant, but his presence was like a king. And Allah placed nur in his character and beauty in his appearance, until even the strongest hearts could not ignore him. And then someone began to watch him, not with respect, but with desire. Zulekha, the wife of the Aziz, a royal woman, covered in gold, living in luxury. But her heart was empty, and when emptiness meets temptation, it becomes obsession. At first, it was only glances, a shadow behind curtains, a pause in the hallway, a silent stare. But Shaitan does not stop at glances. He turns glances into thoughts, thoughts into desire, and desire into destruction. One day, she called Yusuf into a private chamber. The air was heavy. The lamps burned low. The walls felt too close. And then the door locked. One bolt, then another. And she stepped forward, a royal figure. And she spoke, not with love, but with control. Come to me. But Yusuf alayhi salam did not hesitate. He stepped back, and he said the words that protect the believers. I seek refuge in Allah. Because Yusuf alayhi salam knew this was a battlefield, not of swords, but of desires. And in that moment, Allah showed him a sign. And Yusuf alayhi salam ran, not because he was weak, but because the strongest believer is the one who runs from sin. Zulekha chased him, and Yusuf alayhi salam reached the door, and suddenly the door opened. Standing there was the Aziz, the man whose home had now become a storm. Silence, 1 second that felt like an eternity. And then Zulekha spoke first, not with shame, but with accusation. What punishment does a man deserve who intended evil against your wife? A lie, delivered like truth, because the most dangerous lies are the ones spoken confidently. But Yusuf alayhi salam spoke calmly. She is the one who tried to seduce me, and Allah, the one who defends his servants, made the truth visible. A witness said, if the shirt is torn from the front, she is truthful, but if it is torn from the back, Yusuf is truthful. And when they looked, the tear was from behind. The room became cold. The Aziz's eyes widened because he realized his own home was built on deception. Zulekha was exposed, but she was not defeated. Because when arrogance is wounded, it becomes revenge. News spread across Egypt. Women whispered, they mocked her. The wife of the Aziz desires her servant, and Zulekha felt humiliation. So she decided to humiliate everyone else. She invited the noble women of Egypt to a feast, a hall of luxury, golden plates, sweet fruits, perfume in the air. And in each woman's hand she placed a knife, not for violence, but for distraction. Then she called Yusuf, and when he entered, the room froze. The women stared, their breath stopped, and in shock, they cut their hands without realizing, and they said, this is not a man, this is an angel. Zulekha smiled behind her veil, and she said, this is the one you blamed me for. Yes, I tried to seduce him, and if he does not obey me, he will be imprisoned. Now, Yusuf alayhi salam was surrounded, not by one temptation, but by many, and the world thought this was the end of Yusuf. But Yusuf alayhi salam did something only prophets do. He turned away from people and turned toward Allah. He raised his heart to the sky and made a dua that still shakes the believer. My Lord, prison is more beloved to me than what they call me towards. If you do not protect me, I may fall into their trap. Look at his purity. He didn't say, I am strong. He said, O Allah, protect me. The palace officials gathered. The elites whispered. And instead of punishing the guilty, they punished the innocent. Because truth is dangerous when it exposes powerful people. So they made a decision, not based on justice, but on reputation. They chose to silence Yusuf. Guards approached, chains rattled, torches flickered, and Yusuf alayhi salam was led through the palace halls like a criminal. But his face remained calm, because he knew Allah was watching every step. And then he reached the prison gate, a dark mouth of stone, a place where hope dies, a place where men disappear. The iron gate opened slowly, screeching like the cry of the oppressed. Dust fell from the ceiling, and the air inside felt heavy, as if it had never tasted sunlight. And Yusuf alayhi salam entered, not because he committed a sin, but because he refused one. The door slammed behind him, a loud echo, as if the world had closed. But listen carefully. This was not the end of Yusuf. This prison was the beginning of his rise.